friend, our common friend, Muhyiddin, whom I like to refer to as Muin. Well, I knew Muin a long time ago, I met him, but I knew him in 3 different capacities. At first, both of us were working together, so we were colleagues in the Oxford University Press in Karachi. Second was that when he came to Dhaka and he replaced the Oxford University Press with UPL, having bought it up, then he became my boss. And my third meeting with him was because he became my publisher, and he published several of my books. I think I was so happy and grateful to him for doing that press. But in his off time, he was doing sort of as a silent freedom fighter, I would say, because I would meet, he was sharing a flat with Martin Pick, who spoke at your meeting yesterday. And so I used to visit them quite often. And I found that Muin was then sheltering a lot of young people who were coming here coming to Karachi from Dhaka and trying to find an escape route either from Balochistan or frontier, whichever were possible. You may not know this, but there were a lot of people particularly in Sindh, like there was the Sindhi GA Sindh movement, and there were people in Balochistan who were also helping the Bangladesh movement for independence at that point. So anyway, Muin's role was to help people cross over. And I often refer to him as a silent freedom fighter. And I wish the country would recognize people like him much more.
He made it possible for Bangladeshi books and authors to have a global reach by making them available internationally. And we did not have to pursue or depend upon Western publishers for that coveted exposure.
Mr. Muhyiddin, whom I had known for a relatively shorter period than most of the other participants who are present here today, was more of a trailblazer. He said that he in fact traced a new path for the publication industry in Bangladesh.
I see him as a person who has made us proud and give us a platform that introduce the work that is done in Bangladesh, about the various aspects of Bangladesh, particularly in social sciences. It was about economics, as we have heard. It has been about law. It has been gender, and all these things has put Bangladesh not only in the publication map of the world, but most importantly, in the large body of knowledge that is produced outside Bangladesh. Because without him, we cannot write the history of Bangladeshi publication.
Every book, whoever writes it, is like a child. And I think Muhyiddin Bhai gave the biggest gift, acted as a midwife to that child and gave the best present ever to any author that he published.
মুহিউদ্দিন ভাইয়ের সঙ্গে আমার আরো ঘনিষ্ঠতা হলো যখন আমি সংস্কৃতি মন্ত্রণালয়ের দায়িত্বে ছিলাম। তিনি একটি বিষয়ে খুবই আগ্রহী ছিলেন, সেটা হলো গ্রন্থনীতি, জাতীয় গ্রন্থনীতি, ন্যাশনাল বুক পলিসি। এবং এই ন্যাশনাল বুক পলিসি নিয়ে তিনি অত্যন্ত মেধা নিয়ে, শ্রম দিয়ে এটি প্রণয়ন করেছিলেন। মূল কাজটি কিন্তু তাঁর করা, যদিও এটি প্রকাশকদের পক্ষ থেকে উপস্থাপন করা হয়েছিল, কিন্তু আমি ব্যক্তিগতভাবে জানি যে মূল কাজটি তারই করা। এবং তিনি প্রতিটা শব্দ তিনি চিন্তা করে লিখেছেন, আলোচনা করেছেন। এবং বিভিন্ন সময় যখন যেটা হয় যে সরকারের বিভিন্ন কর্মকর্তাদের সঙ্গে আলোচনা প্রসঙ্গে যখন এই বিষয়গুলো যখন আলোচনা করতে হতো, তাকে যখন সবাই বসতে হতো, তিনি কিন্তু তার যুক্তির জায়গাটিতে প্রায় অনড় থাকতেন। এবং সেক্ষেত্রে আমরা বা আমাদের যারা সরকারি কর্মকর্তা থাকতেন, তারা কিন্তু মুহিউদ্দিন ভাইয়ের মতামতটা গুরুত্বের সঙ্গে গ্রহণ করতেন এবং সেটাই হয়তো তাদের শেষ পর্যন্ত মানতে হতো।
Wanted to say briefly how incredibly brave Muin was in those days in Karachi in 1971. He was being harassed by authorities for little things and for big things, but he never spoke against anyone, even the policemen and the authorities who were following him. He was always calm, always said, well, they think they are just doing their duty. He never spoke ill of anyone, which was very surprising and made those of us who knew him well love him even more.
It's a sad occasion, but also it is an opportunity to celebrate a wonderful man, his memory. I think it's unusual for a publisher to achieve so much respect and affection from a global, not just national community, and also beyond just writers and readers. It's a respect for his passionate support of social and political causes. But alongside his sheer class, integrity, his authors adored him. And there was a kind of mutual loyalty between him and us and him. And also that includes for many Videshi Banglophiles, I put it that way, such an honor to be published by him. And indeed for many of us a first preference, because we wanted to be read strongly in Bangladesh as well as elsewhere.
I think the one thing I really appreciate about him is his meticulousness. He was just unbelievably meticulous. Sometimes the books took a little longer than we expected, but at the end of the day, when the books arrived, we knew that a job had been done well, extremely well.
Through UPL, he almost single-handedly introduced the creative, intellectual and academic writings of Bangladeshi scholars to the outside world. বলতে গেলে একক প্রচেষ্টা বাংলাদেশের সৃজনশীল, বুদ্ধিবৃত্তিক এবং একাডেমিক লেখালেখিকে বিশ্বের কাছে তিনি পরিচিত করেছেন।
I was immediately struck by his refined and urbane personality and scholarly erudition, both deep and wide. To a writer, the publication of his or her first book is a huge event. In my case, Mohyuddin Bhai will be forever remembered and cherished, both on my bookshelf and in my heart, as the person who went beyond his role as an editor and helped to produce with consummate care my first book and collection of columns, An Abiding City, Ruminations from Rome. And today, as I sit in Rome, I send this larger-than-life figure in the Bangladeshi publishing world my prayers in his onward journey.
But Mohyuddin was a person of both courage and, obviously, as it turned out, commitment and entrepreneurial zeal. And he established English language publishing in Bangladesh as a pioneer and has sustained it over virtually half a century, so that it is now a legacy which he has bequeathed to his daughter Maruk, and it is still the premier publishing house of Bangladesh today. This is quite exceptional achievement.
He was unique because for half a century he remained the only academic publisher in Bangladesh who maintained some standards and quality and ethics in publication. On my first impression, what struck me then and always remained in my life, that here is a very dynamic person, very forceful person, very self-confident person. And when a person is so dynamic and self-confident, then authors also then have confidence in that publishing house.
প্রকাশনা মানেই ভালো প্রকাশনা মানে কলকাতা থেকে আসতে হবে, এখানে কোনো প্রকাশনা বলে কিছু নাই। সেই কারণে যখন মহিউদ্দিন ইউপিএল করলো, তার প্রকাশনা দেখে খুবই ভালো, খুবই আনন্দ লাগলো যে একটা জায়গাতে একটা বিরাট একটা অভাব ছিল, সেই অভাব মহিউদ্দিন পূরণ করতে পেরেছে। সেটা শুধু যে প্রকাশনার তার গুণগত মান প্রকাশনা, তার যে কন্টেন্টের উপরেও যে জোরটা তার দিয়েছে, এটা তারকে বরাবরই আমার, সেই জন্য আমি তাকে শ্রদ্ধা করে এসেছি, ভালোবেসে এসেছি।
In the beginning, I didn't realize the importance of this publisher in a newly independent country, but later on, as years went by, I realized how crucial this UPL has been, and of course Mohiuddin, who is the soul of this.